Hi, welcome back to Network Training. Now, we've already learned about speed and consistency and why that's important. What we're going to learn now is how we can actually deliver that on the network using, of course, a bit of prioritization, okay? And if you're thinking, but James, you spelt that wrong. No, that's actually how it's meant to be spelt. But also, I've got you covered on the next slide, where we're going to learn a little bit about quality of service. Now, quality of service is really a IT technology that we're going to apply to our AV traffic. And essentially, it's normally used for guaranteeing packet delivery. That's normally the kind of context in which we speak about quality of service. But here, we're not so worried about the actual delivery of packets. We're actually more worried about guaranteeing the timings of the packets, okay? Pretty much all the packets are going to be delivered unless we've got quite bad network congestion, which is a whole other problem. We're not worried about them being dropped. We're worried about them being a little bit late or having high levels of jitter where the timing is actually changing. So how do we actually apply quality of service in Q-SYS? Well, basically, it works like this. We're going to attach something called a DSCP tag to our different types of traffic that leave any Q-SYS device. And that's going to be clock traffic, audio traffic, and also video traffic. Everything else we're really not worried about, okay? Now, with clock, that's the highest level of priority. As you can see there, that's the most important thing. Now, that's because if your clock is all messed up, it doesn't really matter if your audio packets are being delivered with really low latency and every packet's getting there, because those devices are all going to be out of sync because your clock doesn't work. So we make sure we prioritize clock as the highest priority, audio second highest, and video's third highest because it also has a specific latency timing requirement. It's just a little bit looser than the timing requirement for audio. Now, the way we actually do that is we attach these DSCP tags. And you can see here that we have 46, 34, and 26 for clock, for audio, and for video. And we're not going to go into detail about how on a network switch do you actually prioritize these, but essentially you're just going to say that 46 is the most important, 34 is the second most important, 26 is the third most important, and everything else is going to be delivered with best effort. If you do that, you're going to be a very happy IT person like you see right here. So that's it, right? Job done. Well, not quite, because what if there's other AV traffic on the network that also needs to be prioritized, but maybe it's using these DSCP tags differently or in a way which is kind of contradictory to what we want to do with Q-SYS? Well, the thing is, this is actually going to happen quite often because Q-SYS is often used alongside another protocol called Dante. Now, Dante is made by another manufacturer called Ordinate. Good people, but it's not quite the same as QLAN. With QLAN, it's always used between Q-SYS devices, and we control it end to end to make sure that system works completely seamlessly. But we don't use QLAN to talk to third-party devices. For that, we often use Dante because Ordinate license it to loads of different AV manufacturers, and it's used in thousands of different AV products, and it's a way for different manufacturers to share audio on a network in a way that's really interoperable. Now, here you can see a little diagram where we can see our Q-SYS core. It's kind of bilingual, so it's doing Dante to a device at the same time that it's doing QLAN to other devices, and you can do those on separate networks if you want, but actually, let's say that we're doing them on the same network. So this traffic is working alongside the other traffic on the same network. So here's what's going to happen. Here we've got our DSCP tags, 46 and 34, and we've got there our Q-SYS clock and our Q-SYS audio. Now, the thing is that Dante audio is tagged the same as our Q-SYS clock. Okay, so you've got your Dante audio coming in over here. It's tagged with 46, the same as the Q-SYS clock. Now, the thing is that the Q-SYS clock is very low bandwidth, right? It might just be a few hundred kilobits a second or something like that. It's really not lots of traffic. Whereas the Dante audio, it could be dozens and dozens of channels. So you've told the network that these things are of an equal priority level. And what you find, if there's enough Dante traffic on the same network, on the same uplink as Q-SYS clock, you find that it is actually going to disrupt that Q-SYS clock and cause a bit of an issue there. Okay? So that's because we've got 46 used by our clock and Dante audio. Now, the other thing, though, is that Dante clock uses DSCP tag 56, which, if we set up the network for Q-SYS, is actually not prioritized at all. So now we've got our clock that's been pushed around a bit, and we've got the Dante clock that's not prioritized at all. So it's just generally a bad situation, okay? Now, the good thing about this is we can easily fix it just like this, because you can actually change the DSCP tags that we attach to our Q-SYS packets to match what you have in Dante. The AV team can simply set for every Q-SYS core that all the devices in that system use the Ordinate Quality of Service preset, and then just like the Dante clock and audio where it's tagged with 56 and 46, the Q-SYS clock and audio is tagged with 56 and 46. And then basically what you do on the network, you prioritize your network for Dante, and Q-SYS just fits right alongside that. Okay, so easy to work around, but definitely something that we need to be aware of. So coming back to this slide here, essentially we can see that if we only got QLAN, then we do what we originally said. Okay, we go with 46, 34, and 26. And if we've got QLAN and we've also got Dante, then what we're going to do is have 56, 46, and 26 still for video. Okay, so really simple. Just to summarize that whole section there. Always apply quality of service, firstly. Sometimes we hear things like, well, I know you said that you need quality of service, but we don't really need to apply it because we've got a lot of bandwidth. Maybe we've got 10 gig uplinks. Wow, that's really cool, okay? But it doesn't really change it fundamentally. It might mean that you get away with a lot more before you need to apply quality of service, but the nice thing about QoS is that it's not very difficult to apply, and it really guarantees that performance. Maybe you've got a small system and lots of bandwidth now, but maybe it's going to grow into the future. So you really want to apply that quality of service right from the get-go, and then it means that as you add lots more AV over IP, you're not going to have a problem moving forward. Remember the audio, clock, audio, then video. That's the order in which we need to apply these. Okay? Clock's the most important thing. And always apply the QLAN DSCP tags, 46 and 34, unless Dante is present, and then you want to be doing 56, 46, and then it's still 26 for video as well. All right. So there's a little look at how we can do prioritization. Join me for the next section. I'll see you there.